Welcome back, Spokane, to another episode of Evo Real Talks. I am Matt Side, here with the lovely Jessica Side once again.
I noticed that you're going away from I'm your host, Matt Side. Is
that
a
you know, I decided
choice?
that the last episode we recorded, I just didn't want to be in the box that I created for myself.
Makes a lot of sense. We are in part 8 of our Airbnb short-term rental, just trying to download as much information as we can to all of you in case this is something that you want to jump into as an investor.
People are either inspired by this series or not. Or like, heck no.
Yeah, no, for sure. And actually, this is going to be our last episode, so we're going to get the rest of the stuff
right
in. Yeah.
We need to finish with... I think it's actually good that it has taken us so long to get through getting the property ready, because it's kind of like real life.
Yeah,
it takes
a lot
way longer than
hours.
Than I thought anyway.
All right, so today what we're going to get into on my end of things is we're going to talk about the guest book. So that's that little book. When you get there, it's usually in some kind of a 3-ring binder, and you open it up and it has information. So first things first. The more aesthetically pleasing it is, the more posh your place will feel. It just feels nicer and cooler because somebody didn't just listen. I've seen a lot of them where it's like a Word document and there's, it's like Times New Roman 12 and it's just stapled together and it's just like, okay, that's fine. And it's great to have that information. But if you want to make your place just feel that little bit more special, make your guest book special. All right, so let's talk about how to do that. The first thing I can tell you is that you need to go to Etsy.com. E-T-S-Y. Etsy.com, you can go on there and you can put in Airbnb guest book, and guess what? They have templates available for you. Now,
like digital templates.
Templates.
They're not sending you a guest book, they're just letting you.
Right. So, and the reason why this is nice is because they're going to give you an aesthetically pleasing look to the whole thing. Now, you still have to fill out all that information and you have to, maybe add more pages. But you get kind of an initial, like, good looking product, which is awesome. All right. Now, in order to be able to manipulate these are not Word documents. You have to use a company called Canva.com. C-A-N-V-A. Canva.com, you can get a free account with them, and it's like I have used it now for years in my business because it is a really easy way to make things like postcards and flyers and business cards. But what you can do, and they'll give you the instructions. So you go to Etsy, right? Etsy.com, you buy it, it's a download, you download it, it gives you the instructions to connect it to your Canva, and then you can manipulate Canva however you want. So that is my recommendation, and is that what I did in order to do this. And they're really inexpensive. I mean, I think I may have spent somewhere around $10 or $15 on the template. Not
even, my God, the amount of time and energy and creativity that goes into it.
And it's really it looks like it's been designed by a professional. Okay. Now, did I have to spend hours and hours and hours actually putting that together? Yes, I did.
Days and days and days.
So yes, it's not going to take away all of the work, but it is going to make your final product look spot on, spectacular. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the pages in your guest book. First page, cover page. Cover page should have a really nice picture. And for us, we did a picture of Leavenworth rather than the property, but it could be a picture of the property. Then you're going to have a table of contents, like, section 1, section 2. I didn't do every single page. I just kind of did it by sections. I said, this section you're going to find this section you're going to find that. Then we have a welcome letter. So this is a letter written by Matt and myself. Again, it's not just a letter like a Word document. It has like a background picture, and then it has a little picture of Matt and me and the kids. So we have a welcome letter. Then the next page, and this is like a big a big one, it just is the Wi-Fi password because everybody is looking in there. It's not just going to be some little thing. It's an entire page that is just the Wi-Fi password.
Didn't you put that on the inside flap of it, or is it actually in the...
It's in there, and then
I think it's also like a little sticky note on the inside flap. Like,
yeah, I've got it in several places.
We're trying to avoid every time everyone goes into the condo to have a message that says, hey, what's the Wi-Fi password?
That's right. The next page is emergency contacts, the hospital, the pharmacy, 911, reminding people to call 911.
Yeah, where you're going to potentially have international travelers, and
they might not
it's
know.
Not, it's
Even
not,
from
may
Canada.
not be 911. In Canada, it's not. It's 991 or something like that.
Yeah. And we know because we actually have had to call it before.
That is a story for
another time.
Different episode for sure.
Anyway, so we have emergency contacts, also the fire department have in there as well. And then I have a section that's called Get Comfortable. And in there, we start with the house rules, okay, which is kind of go. We also have the house rules sitting out behind the kitchen sink. And house rules, now this is just the major ones. The major ones for us are no smoking or vaping. Got to add vaping in there, guys. No parties or events, no pets, what time quiet time is. So we're just asking people to kind of lower the level of the noise at about 10 p.m. Asking them to protect the furniture. So just reminding them, like, don't, like, I've heard horror stories of people using nice wood tables as a cutting board, just things. So just kind of asking them to be careful with that, and then no wet clothes. And these are all kind of large bullet point,
chunky sections.
Things. Another one that we have, so the next one we have is a house guide, and this one has information about the laundry facility that's there, the streaming, how do they stream stuff on the television, the Nest thermostat. I've repeated the instructions of the Nest thermostat, and then the trash and recycle. If they fill that up, where can they take it to? So those are some little things. Now here's an important distinction to make. I'm going to make it right here. I've got things in two places, right? Mm-hmm. There's a Nest thermostat instruction in the welcome book, and then there's a Nest instruction right next to the Nest, because there are two types of people that go to these places. There are people like Matt, who reads the entire guest book from
start to finish.
That's right. And then there's me, who is like, I wonder where the instructions are around here. And I just go right to the Nest and like, oh, there it is. So I wanted to make sure I accommodated for both types of people.
It reminds me, there are two types of people in the world. Those that love Neil Diamond and those that don't.
What is that from?
What about Bob?
What about Bob?
Leo Marvin.
Wonderful. All right, so then I have another page. It's called Tips. And this one talks about where the roll-away beds are and the bedding for that. It talks about hot drinks, what we've provided for them. Talks about using the pantry. I want to make sure people know that if they open one of the closets, it's empty for them to put their groceries in and things. Talks about where to find extra chairs and how they can move the chairs and the cubes around for whatever they need. It talks about where the grocery store is, and it talks about the snacks and making sure they know that those snacks are for them. And we also have another section in there that says forgot something, and it talks about where the convenience store is. So for those, they forgot their charger or whatever that might be, we want to make sure that they know that there's a convenience store really close by. Then we have another page that is our board game collection. We, of course...
This will likely not be a page in everybody's guest
book.
But
I like people to know that we not only have a bunch of games, but then I highlight about 9 of them and tell them how many players that can play and what's best for.
We should totally update our listings with some of that stuff. Like, there are board game geeks out there that will choose our condo because of the collection.
All right. So then we go into resort amenities. So because we have this place and it is inside of a resort, we give a map of the resort. We talk about, which helps them to know, like, if they need to go to the lobby for some reason, they know how to get there, because it's actually kind of big and it's a little hard to find. We talk about the free amenities, so everything that's free that comes with it. Then we talk about the paid amenities, so things that they could do, like a spa.
Sure, the mini golf, those kind of things.
Right. Then we talk about the on-site eatery, so we want to make sure that they know that information. We have a menu in there. Then we go to a whole new section, local sites section. So we have places to see or things to do, And instead of just having one page of that, and again, when I say one page, I'm not talking like bullet points, right? These are all very visually pleasing. And this might have 4 things on one page with pictures and contact information. And so we have places to see for every season: summer, autumn, winter, and spring. So 4 different pages with 4 different things, although the very top of it is always the same, which is the Bavarian Village. The verbiage that we put in there has a kind of talks about that season and what to expect during that season. Then we have a section that is local eats and drinks. So this is places to eat. So a whole page of places to eat. Again, really good looking pictures across that.
And it's not everything. Like, you don't need to feel like you have to put it all in there. Like, pick your top 6 or however many fit on the page.
Right, exactly. And again, pictures is important. So places to eat. German eats, because there's so many German restaurants. I was like, man, I need a whole page just for German.
It's the theme of the town.
And then we did a whole places to drink. So cideries, wineries, obviously lots of beer houses. All right, so the next section we have, or the next page, is getting around. Yeah, this is a section. And then these pages, we have walking maps. So we have a map of all the different routes that people can take to walk and how much time it takes. We have the shuttle service, so a whole page about the shuttle service, where they can get it. I took a picture, a screenshot, so people have the schedule right there inside the book, how to get to it from where we are. And then we just talk about parking and the train. So parking downtown, there's a train that comes there. If you're living in a different place, you might need to talk about airports, Ubers,
subways,
taxi, subway.
metros,
Yeah, there's all
light
kinds
rails,
of
whatever.
Those are important. Then we have a whole section that's basically just checking out. And it is a checkout list, and we try and keep it really simple. I think we've got maybe 6 things.
Maybe 6, yeah.
6
4 or
things
6
on there. And so it's in the book, and it's on the front door, like inside of a plastic hardcover.
On the inside of the front door.
So when they leave, they go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do these 6 things before I leave. Then we have a little thing in there that just asks them to leave us a review. And then the very last page, we actually have a goodbye page, and we have a couple of 5-star reviews that we pasted in there. We didn't have that at first, so it was just blank.
We didn't even have it. We didn't keep that page in there.
No, I did. I just left all the cute stuff with our contact information and stuff like that, and I just left that part blank. And then once we had some 5-star reviews, I put them in there. So that is our welcome book.
Are we done with setting up the condo?
We are done with setting up the condo.
This is literally how it felt when we were done setting up the condo.
And we never were done.
Are we really done?
I think we might be. So, Matt, I'm going to hit it back over to you, but I'm just going to say one more time. I think a guest book makes it just that little bit of specialness.
A nice one. I agree. I agree. The feel of it, it's leather, not plastic 3-ring binder from Office Depot. Just make it nice. All right, let's bring this home.
Let's do it.
With self-management. Not all of you are going to want to self-manage.
Nope.
But for those of you that do, this is an important part. Before I get into that, I wrote a couple of quick notes. Know and track some of the routine maintenance that you need to do at your property. So for us, we need to have periodic special cleaning of our jetted tub, of the inside plumbing parts, changing out the batteries and the smoke alarms, your furnace filters, maintaining the furnace. It would be a real bummer if the furnace died while you had a guest there. So make sure that you're taking care of those things. So that's just kind of a quick freebie.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. 4 tips that you need for success in self-managing your nightly rental.
Okay.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to the woman that runs our office, Brittany, who helped me with some of this because she also helps me with some of that management. The number 1 item on our list for managing your nightly rental is tech tools that are going to help you. And I'm going to hammer through a handful of these, having some good tech tools. We have chosen to do a Google Voice number so that we don't have our own private cell phone numbers available to the world. So I recommend some sort of, Google Voice is free. I think it is at the moment.
I think it is.
A calendar reservation software manager.
Okay.
So we use Guesty, which is formerly known as Your Porter. So don't quote me on any of these things. In 3 days, half the stuff's gone, right? It's tech. So I want to tell you the major things that this does that are really important to us It has a calendar merge feature so that VRBO and Airbnb and Booking.com all come into the exact same calendar. So we have one calendar to manage. When VRBO sends over a reservation, it blocks the calendar for Airbnb. So Airbnb doesn't even know that it knows it's unavailable.
Right.
It has unified messaging. So we have a single place that we can go to our instant messaging back and forth, and if the person's on the Airbnb platform, it goes through that, and if they're on Vrbo, it goes through that, but we can have one place where all of those filter through. It has really cool reporting. So at the end of the month, I can see my vacancy rate, I can see how much money I made, I can see how much, like my gross amount, I can see how much money I paid to platforms in their transaction fees, I can see what I'm paying out in like cleaning fees or what I've collected in cleaning fees, all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoy that. I always geek out on the numbers. Template communication. So basically what you can do with this, and I printed out, like Brittany and I spent some time, you can't even probably see it on the video, but
let me see it.
Brittany and I took some time with one of those huge Post-it note pieces of paper and a Sharpie pen, and we I actually need it to kind of know what I'm talking about, but we started with booking and then post checkout. Like those are the bookends of the life cycle of a guest in our world. And so we said, where are the places that we need to have communication with them every single time that we don't want to rely on the human to have to remember to do it? And so at the point they book, we want a template welcome message as soon as they're confirmed booking. That's the first thing that we do. 1 week prior, we are going to send them details about check-in.
Right.
2 days prior, we have another check-in. That's when we're going to give them the code to get in. We again give them their. Well, let me just give you all the points, and then I'll go through the details.
And so these are text messages. Sorry.
No, these are messaging through the apps.
Okay, got it.
All right, so welcome message 1 week prior, 2 days prior, a day of check-in, a day prior to check out, and then a post-checkout follow-up. So the welcome message just is something like, hey, congratulations, we're so excited for you to be here, blah, 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 and maybe has a digital link. I think it has a digital link to the guest book that Jessica put together.
Right.
And if you have any questions, send us a message type of a thing. 1 week prior to check-in, we're going to send them the address of the property and directions to get there, how to check in, let them know that their custom code is going to be coming 2 days before so that they're not worried about, like, well, we don't have the code.
Right.
What the check-in time is, when the check-out time is, and then we start giving them their Wi-Fi code at that point because we know they're going to want it. All right, so 2 days prior to check-in, we give them their check-in code. We give them the address again and directions, check-in time, and then questions. So it was really important to us that 2 days before check-in, because the 1 week is really long.
Yeah.
It's a huge message.
Right.
So the 2 days before, what do they have to know? They have to know how to get there. They have to know how to get into the unit when they get there, and they need to know how to log into the Wi-Fi. Those are like the important pieces. Right. And as soon as and that they can't get there before 4. Right. So that's important as well. Then the day of check-in, basically the system allows you to set at 4 p.m., which is check-in time for us. We can send them a message. It basically says, welcome, we're so glad you made it. Here's the Wi-Fi code again. Here's the digital welcome book, but there's one in the condo. If you have any questions, let us know. We hope you enjoy your stay. So it's that connection point. A day prior to checkout, it's kind of this little like, oh, I can't believe tomorrow's your day to check out. Just a quick reminder, checkout is at 10, and here are the things, like the process to check out, right? So that they don't have to. It's just another follow up. You do this for the linens, do that for the dishes, etc. And then at that point, we at the beginning, we were going to do like a request for review, but the platforms do a great job with that. So we got rid of our like, hey, make sure you review us, because the platforms are bugging everybody to do that.
Okay.
So that was huge. That saves us so much time.
Yeah, so let's make it
consistent.
I want to make sure people are understanding. This is not, we're getting a reminder so that we send these. We are setting these up prior. And are you going to talk about the keyless entry at
in
all?
a second, yeah.
Okay.
So yes,
So
these
it's
are
all
set up.
inside of the system.
And once we type it, it knows, like it has a little code that says guest first name. And so it'll say, "Hi, Jessica, congratulations on your booking of our blah, blah, blah," right? So we don't have to do anything with that. The other thing that it does is it coordinates cleaners. So as soon as somebody books a reservation, it updates a cleaning calendar that our cleaner has access to. It sends an email to the cleaner that says, "Hey, John Smith is going to be checking in on this date," and then it sends another message like the day before that says, "Hey, so and so is going to be leaving on this date, and somebody else is going to be coming in on this date," so they know when it has to be cleaned. So it's just again an automated management of your cleaning people and staff.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's it for the templates on that. So this is the next piece of tech, and this specific piece. So for us, it's a Wi-Fi lock because we aren't going to be there to let people in.
Right.
And we don't really want to have a key. So a Wi-Fi lock actually connects to the Wi-Fi. I have an app on my phone that I can see the activity. It sends me a little message. So, it's unlocked, it's locked, it's unlocked, it's locked. I can lock or unlock it from my phone.
Right.
And then the other thing, the Schlag encode is a specific brand of Schlag lock that ties in with Guesty, which is the system. So the system creates a 4-digit code that we've told it to create and inserts it into the message automatically and then talks to Schlag to set it up.
And it's different for every guest, so you don't have a
guest.
code that's like now they can get in every time they want to come in.
So that's a super cool
Huge.
piece of tech
So
for
cool.
the management.
I figured that out.
The
I found
Nest thermostat, you've heard us talk about it a little bit. It lets me see what's going on at the condo because Nest talks to the internet in the area. It knows what the weather is basically outside, so I know if it's snowing or if it's raining or if it's 28 degrees. I can set it for an eco mode so that if I'm not present at the property and it doesn't sense movement because it has a motion sensor on the deal, it will automatically go into eco. So that means it's not going to cool it too much in the summer or heat it too much in the winter. And so
technology is amazing.
Super efficient, super efficient. We've talked about video cameras. I think the thing I like about that, you can see who's coming and going. Are they breaking any rules by bringing in more people than they should? Are they bringing animals in that we've asked them not to? That kind of stuff. You want to get one that's motion detection. I like having something that reads the temperature, specifically because I'm monitoring the temperature in my storage
Plus,
unit.
he's kind of a geek when it comes to knowing what the temperature is. I'm just saying, it's a thing.
Night vision, so the ones we have night vision, so the storage room when it's closed, I'm just ignore that.
It's true, though.
I'm not going to take that bait.
It's true. It's okay. Continue.
So when we close the room to the storage room, it goes from color to black and white, but it's literally pitch black in there, and I can still see what's going on.
That's interesting.
And it has audio, so I didn't know that I haven't needed to use this, but if I ever received a complaint about noise, I would literally be able to have a recording with the noise level going on, because I can actually hear people talking when they're in front of the door.
Right.
And technically I can talk back to them, but that would be creepy. Unless I was really like, you need to get the bleep out of there.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm calling the cops.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Now people are going to be worried about renting my property. This was a side note from Brittany, just the importance of having a good computer, because most of the apps are easier to navigate on a website versus just on your phone.
Okay.
So just kind of a side note. All right, reliable vendors. So important. Unless you're the one that is the vendor, having reliable vendors. So people that will be able to do repairs as needed or emergency type repairs. And it's if you can have more than one deep, like somebody's not answering their phone and there's a major problem.
Yeah.
Like, just so weird. Just the other day, we had a heater vent, because our vents are in the ceiling, that fell out of the ceiling. Nobody got hurt. Nothing got damaged.
Yeah, so
but we were
strange.
able to, they were cool. They're like, hey, it's not a big deal. Just when we leave, you can fix it. But our handyman was able to come and just get it done before the next guest came in.
Yes.
And then, of course, in reliable vendors, that consistent cleaners, because cleanliness is so important.
Yes.
Consistent and compassionate communication with guests.
Yeah.
That's number 3.
Yeah, I like this.
Obviously, your system, I just went all into this communication, that the systematization of that is so important because they feel it's genuine to them. Like they don't know what's going on. I can't tell you how many times, honestly, I can't tell you how many times somebody sends a message back. It's like, thanks so much. We're not quite there yet, but whatever, right? Like we say, welcome, you're here. And they're like, well, we haven't quite made it. Like, so they're communicating with us. You want your guests to feel comfortable from the second that they message you, and just realizing this is a person on the other end of this. That's just really important. So, I've had people say, do I need chains to drive around Leavenworth?
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They've never been there.
Sure.
So just having that no, you don't. Or absolutely you do. Somebody's like, where's a nice dinner? I'm trying to surprise my spouse for our anniversary, and having an opinion on that and saying, well, there's these two places, you don't have to, this particular person in my mind, they didn't want to get dressed up too much. So just kind of knowing.
And you reminded him this is the Northwest.
But yeah, so having those conversations, that's really, really important.
I love it.
And then this was a Brittany at the very end too, which was staying calm, especially when you're first starting out. It's a learning process.
Yeah.
The second guest that we had move into or was in our unit somehow got confused and didn't move out the day he was supposed to. And so the cleaner messaged us and said, I don't think they're gone. And we had somebody coming in that night. And I was thinking, oh my God.
We're terrible at this.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
This is the worst ever. And so just keeping calm, figuring it out. And we got through it. And you will get through it too. And the other thing, so those are my 4 tips.
Okay, those are great.
The other thing that's important is there are something called superhost status out there, and the superhost status happens every 3 months.
It's Airbnb,
and there's another version on VRBO, but there are 4 things they're looking for on that. They want you to have a rating of 4.8 or above. They want you to respond within 24 hours, 90% of the time or more. Your stays, you can't get that until you have a certain number of stays. So you have to either 10 stays, or if you're a long-term rental situation, like 100 days over the last 3 stays, something like that. And then a cancellation rate. They want fewer than 1% of your reservations that were booked to be canceled.
By you.
By us, yeah.
Right. If other people cancel.
I don't actually know that. It just says canceled. So
I think it has to do with us. Anyway.
The idea is they're trying to create a platform that guests want to stay at as well, right? Like they want it to be a good user experience because they make a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
And so why do we care about Superhost? If that's important to Airbnb and to the guest, they're going to promote Superhosts above just general hosts.
Right.
Because they know that that's going to create a better experience for the guests. And then they're also people can filter by Superhost. And so that's beneficial as well.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of the self-management piece.
Okay. Well, so one of the things that I was talking about with Matt is I think we should end this on asking yourself 4 questions, because if you're thinking about going into Airbnb, there are really 4 categories of things that you either need to love doing or at least can tolerate doing, or we're a team, right? So one of us loves or can tolerate it. Number 1 is finding the properties and running numbers. Just figuring out if this is going to work financially for you. Okay. Number 2 is using technology, and all that stuff he's talking about is technological based. And some of the things I'm talking about, Canva, Etsy, there's technology
having
involved.
Some basic understanding of how to set up an internet in your house.
Yes.
I mean, when it goes down, troubleshooting stuff.
Number 3, that you would be excited to help design it, get everything ready, make the tags, think all the administrative stuff that comes into
setting the property up, right?
Yeah, setting it up. And then the last one is management. Okay, are you going to be okay with, I can't tell you how many times Matt is like looking inside of the app and figuring things out. Now,
here's the deal. There is active pricing management that I take on. There are also systems you can pay for that do some.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. If you don't want to do those things, you can probably pay for it, but that is going to cost a lot. So time versus money, Will you do an Airbnb? I don't know, but I'm hoping that this whole series has helped you decide, or at least helped you to
It's been
start
a
you on
great
the path.
experience and investment for us. I think it's a great opportunity. If we were starting out in investing now, I think we would have made that a choice of ours. So.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great rest of your year. If you have any questions about real estate, give us a call at 509-62-HOUSE or reach out to us on all forms of social media. All right. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.